All right, here we go. It is episode 22 of the Odd G's podcast presented by Bet Parks. Harry Mace, Jason Martinez, what's going on? Ha!
Hey, man, I'm still in a post-NFL draft haze and trying to come to grips with the fact that the 76ers will be eliminated probably within the week.
I was talking to one of the guys at Wawa. Walter is his name. And he said, I think they get swept 4-0.
Wow.
I don't think they get swept.
Well, I will say this, though. I mean, I was talking about this with a couple of guys the other day. Like, Embiid's going to miss, we know, the first two games. What if he misses game 3? And let's say they go down 3-0 as a result. Do they bring it? They don't bring him back at all, right? So then they could get swept. No, I don't think so. If they're down 3-0, you're bringing Embiid back with a broken face and a torn ligament in his thumb?
Yeah, and a concussion to boot,
yeah,
right?
Well, that would be gone by then. That would have to be gone for him to come back, I would assume. But
yeah,
I mean, this thing just totally went all bad, and you didn't even know about it because I was watching the draft more intently than I was watching Game 6 of the series against Toronto. I had that on the little TV with no sound, and I had the big TV on the draft with sound. So I'm watching, and the game was long since over anyway. The 76ers were up like 25, 30 points late in that game. So I saw him hit the floor, but he hits the floor all the time. So I never really thought much of it. This is, how many times have we seen Joel Embiid crash to the ground after being hit or whatever? And I thought nothing of it. He's Mr. Drama King anyway. He plays everything up. So you never know what to believe. So I didn't really find out about the injury or know the severity of it till the next day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a second. Why was he in the game? They were up 30 points with 4 minutes to go, and he's got a torn ligament in his thumb. Why is he in the fucking game?
Yeah, you're right. And this is, I know the NBA's got the 3-point line and all that, Harry.
Yeah.
But that's too much to come back from. Like, what are we doing here? We got to protect the guy a little bit. There's no ridiculous upside to it.
Now, I know Doc Rivers is no stranger to blowing leads.
Yeah.
I get all that. But if you can't hold a 30-point lead with 4 minutes to go,
something's wrong.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. You're irrelevant anyway.
Yeah. And he's so prone to this kind of stuff. And he's doing the airplane thing down the court. And, we love some of that histrionics and all that stuff. But, was that really necessary there too? I mean, they went to game 6 with this team. They should have dispatched of them in 4 games.
Yeah. And they missed the opportunity to do that.
Right. I mean,
there's the wear and tear that Embiid doesn't need.
Right. What are you doing? Rubbing in their face when they took you to 6 games to begin with. Yeah.
No, you're right. And the thing is, you're in this predicament again where so much is predicated on Embiid's health, and it never holds up.
No, it never holds up.
And, never holds up.
They've become a team that's difficult to really embrace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We love Embiid. I do. Don't get me wrong. But there's always something else.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And if there's not something else, you're waiting for it to happen, and it usually delivers.
That's exactly right.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. I mean, the Sixers in the second round now, Harry, down 1-0, are Miami's minus 525 to take the series on the Bet Parks app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
they're plus 8.5 in game 2. And I think I'm just going to take them. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm just anticipating them shooting a little bit better from beyond. They were god awful. I think they attempted 30 some shots from 3-point and landed 17% of them. Maxi's throwing up shots early in the shot clock. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
It's like everybody's lost their mind.
Yeah. And Tobias Harris was great. He played a hell of a game. Harden, I expect maybe I'm a dope, but I expect more from him in that situation. And I hope that we'll get it tonight. And maybe they can steal a game on the road without the big guy. And then maybe you do have a series when he comes back.
Yeah. Well, get your action in on that series on the all-new Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. It's now live. Take it from Harry and I. The new Bet Parks app, it's great. It's everything that you want in a mobile casino and sportsbook right in your pocket. I was bagging all kinds of different stuff on there. It is. Yeah. All kinds of different stuff on the start of the NHL playoffs, which have been outrageous.
Oh, I saw you got how many screens did you have up last night? 4?
4.
Yeah. 4.
Yep, that's exactly right. I had 3 computer screens going, and the big TV in the home studio, known as Hockey HQ. Har.
There it is. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, will it be featured on Hockey Night in Canada this week?
It very well could. I'll have to text a photo of it to Freege up there. See a Freege on once they get it on. Good old Elliot Friedman from Hockey Night in Canada.
Oh my God!
But get the app. It's easy to sign up, fun to use, faster to win than ever before. And the promo is still going on right now. All Bet Parks users, new and existing, can use the promo code Jason750, Jason750, and get that risk-free bet up to $750. Terms and conditions apply. So download the new Bet Parks app today. You do need to be over 21 and present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So, yeah, the Sixer series, it brings me to, I was listening to DeCamera the other day. Why?
What?
I don't know. I was in the car and I was waiting for my Bluetooth to connect, and he's going, are the Sixers cursed because they did the process? It's like every year something happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this year it's Embiid in the thumb and now the orbital bone, blah, blah, blah. You know, from the picks of Fultz and Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, down the line, Michael Carter
Williams. Yes.
I mean, what did you really get out of this? And if they don't get out of the second round again, I think these process nitwits, I sound like Eskin, it's time to give it up and admit that this process thing was a guttural failure, just an absolute sham. But Harry, do you believe in sports karma and they're being punished for disrespecting the sanctity of professional sport?
Well, I believe in karma, period. For everyday people, whether it's scholastic, in my view. But yeah, I do believe in karma, and I believe in the sports gods. And I think if you give the middle finger to the sports gods, you are going to get it coming around to you at some point. Yep. Now, is that what's going on with the Sixers? With this Embiid injury, I don't know about that, but I do believe, that they are not viewed by the rest of the league and probably the sports god in the most positive of lights.
Yeah. I mean, when you do that for 4 years,
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like you're getting what you deserve here. You get the great tease of Embiid. You get the tease of Ben Simmons, and then you got to ship him out of here. And you go, oh, we get James Harden, but James Harden's not James Harden.
Right. He's a shell of
James
what. Yeah, right. He's not the Houston Rockets James Harden.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
He's like the saccharine James Harden at this point. And he's not nearly good enough to elevate this team. They're not a championship contender, even if they get past this round.
No, I don't think they're good enough to beat either Boston or Milwaukee to get to the finals.
Yeah.
I really
And that's
don't.
what it was about, right? It was about not being in the middle ground.
Right.
But to me, being a 9-10 seed or a team that can't get past the second round is the same thing in the NBA.
Yeah, it's still a purgatory kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't ever get past the second round, was giving up 4 years of basketball and thinking that was the only way to do it, really the right thing to do, because it's not.
No, and you thought that maybe a Doc Rivers would be able to push this team over the hump, and we've long figured out now that he is not the answer either. And they lose in the second round, he's probably out of here.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean, you can't keep doing the same thing. But I mean, is it even really his fault? I mean, when you consider Embiid's tenuous health, the shell of a player that Harden is, Tobias is overpaid but delivers on occasion. Maxey was a great player, but he was playing a little spastic the other night. So, I mean, is it really on him?
No, I mean, there's certain things that I'm disappointed with Doc Rivers that I thought we would see as opposed to Brett Brown. I haven't been all that impressed with, the way he utilizes his rotations, just sort of common sense things of adjustments in game. I'm not impressed with either, but I know everybody was ripping on him the other night because they were tired of seeing DeAndre Jordan in the game. He was in the game for 17 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan, but what is he supposed to do? The other guy, Reed, was a walking foul. He had 5 fouls in 13 minutes. So where is he really supposed to go here?
Yeah. What's the option?
You know what I mean? There's times to kill the coach, and then there's other times where you're like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, you're right, though. Sometimes he seems to get lost in the run of the opposition
Mm-hmm.
and does not react nearly quick enough to it, whether it's a timeout, making some substitutions, getting guys back in the game. He seems too rigid sometimes with his substitutions and the time of the game that he likes to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the game that's dictating it, it's his rigidity that's dictating it. And that's wrong.
Yeah, but they get eliminated in round 2. He's definitely out of here, and you were probably looking at Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, and another guy is going to get you to round 2 and
Right.
not past it because you
Yeah, I
don't have
think
enough
there's a limit
talent.
with him too.
Yeah,
To be
it's
honest
all
with you.
about talent, and I don't know if other players want to come here and play with Embiid. I mean, at this point, what's Embiid? 28 years old.
Is that what he is? I don't even know.
I
I
mean,
don't even know how old he was when he was in college. I
yeah,
mean, seriously, it's up
this
for
is
debate.
probably a guessing game, right?
Yeah, really. So, but yeah, I mean, I think what you're getting to is there's a window.
Yeah,
Where he's going to be viable, and every time there's a new injury, and I know an orbital bone isn't going to affect his ability to play in the future, but it just seems like things find him.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
Siakam, claims that he wasn't doing it intentionally, and I choose to believe him. I mean, they
fellow
are
countrymen.
fellow countrymen from Cameroon, and I don't think he intended to hurt him. Now, if you listen to the broadcast from Toronto, they were over the moon with it, and they thought, yeah, good on you.
Yeah,
Right?
he did turn 28 on March 16th, and
Okay.
let's face it, with his body,
Yeah.
his size, he ain't going to hold up to 34.
No, I don't think so either.
The game's over for him probably at 31, 32.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
when
the
he
window's
starts
closing.
Yeah, when he starts really breaking down, it's going to be a very pronounced slope that he slides down.
You would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
like
the way
a
it is
running
with
back
big
in
men.
the NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Once it happens fast.
Yeah, like Steven, who was the guy? Not Steven Davis, the guy out in Seattle. Who was that?
Alexander.
Yeah, Steven Alexander. He was great for 3 years, and then he couldn't get more than 1.5 yards per carry.
Yeah. I think that was when he was with Washington. He was with the Washington football team for his final year, I believe, in the league, and he couldn't do anything.
And he was shot.
Yeah.
And Clinton Portis was good for a couple of years. Same thing, right? Speaking of Washington. So that's just kind of the way it works. I don't know where that thing's gone, but I think, everybody's going to be upset, and they're not going to get past the second round again. And we'll be looking at the Phillies going, oh, what are the Phillies? And they're the Phillies. The same thing year after year after year. Can't field, can't pitch.
Right. I mean, they just don't have enough. Every now and then a couple of guys hit home runs and people get excited, but they're not hitting yet the way they're supposed to. And, their pitching isn't all that great. You saw, with that Mets series. I mean, jeez. How about that team start?
Yeah.
Baseball in New York is pretty good right now.
Oh, no doubt. Well, they were aggressive too, and they spent, and they're getting the reward of it. That's the thing that leads us to, we're in Philly again. We're kind of going, where are we going to get a winner here? The Phillies are the Phillies, which is, this may sound harsh, but they're a loser franchise. They've lost more than any team in professional sports in all the majors. And, they can get us hyped up with certain moves and stuff, but it's never enough. It's enough to get you hyped, but not enough to actually do anything, with the exception of, 2008 and that run, 09, 10, and 11. But then, the Flyers are in purgatory right now, big time.
Thank goodness that season's over.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my word.
There's a really cozy spot in heaven for me for suffering through this season.
I'll tell you what. I mean, how many do you have to do a broadcast a day?
Yeah. Well, during the season, I did a podcast every day from September 9th until Saturday, this past Saturday.
Every day, 7 days a week.
Not one single day off. Even when I was out with the old lady hair,
right,
at the retreat, at the salon, and at the spa.
Oh man!
For the couple of days, I was sneaking out of the room at 11:30 at night to find a quiet spot in the hotel at Bedford Springs to record an episode of the podcast and have it uploaded for people in the morning.
Now, how long in general are those episodes then?
Anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes.
Wow.
Depending
you can come up with 45 minutes of hockey content on a daily basis for 6 months?
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's not easy, Harry. And like this year it was tougher because usually I have a lot of player interviews and coaches and
Yeah.
when
When
shit's
they
so
lose, they're not
yeah.
available. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
don't want to talk, and I don't want
No.
to talk to them if they don't want to talk.
Right.
So
Right.
I got to come. I had to pivot a bit in my content coverage this year.
By the way, it was Sean Alexander, the running
Sean
back.
Alexander.
Yeah, not Stevens. So before anybody
Stephen
goes
Davis,
crazy. Yeah,
Sean
Stephen
Alexander. Yeah, there we go.
Right.
So the great white hope again is the Eagles and the NFL draft. Now, were you locked in on the draft, Har?
Well, I was locked in on Thursday night. Like I said, I had the 2 TVs working on Thursday night. Friday night, I was out. And Saturday, during the day, I'm not staying in if it's a nice day, and it was a nice day. And we've had very few nice days this spring. So I was out on both Friday and Saturday's broadcast, but I was locked in on Thursday night. And I was locked in
against the Sixers, mind you.
Yeah, well, against them, but I had them on too. You know what I'm saying? But I was locked into the NFL Network's broadcast. I lean to the NFL Network for my draft coverage rather than ESPN.
Now, why is that? Because NFL Network is a little bit more, I guess, meat and potatoes, and ESPN's a little more side dish for you.
Well, I'm just a fan. I'm not a fan of Greeny.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had enough of Greeny. So, I will go to Rich Eisen, who, he's not really my cup of tea either, but I prefer the way they do it as opposed to ESPN.
Yeah.
So
the whole ESPN thing, period, end of sentence, worldwide leader bullshit to me. The way that they didn't cover hockey when they didn't have skin in the game just told me that they're not the worldwide leader. They don't care about sports. They care about what they got skin in the game with.
Well, yeah. And unfortunately, that's pretty much the way it is across the board nowadays. If you're not, partnering with a certain league and broadcasting games, you kind of act like the other things don't really exist.
Yeah. Like when the WNBA is getting 50 times the coverage.
I know.
I'm going, okay, worldwide leader my ass.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we?
Really?
Yeah. The WNBA, give me a break.
Yeah. Well,
nothing against it, but geez. You sent me this article that a guy at Barrett Sports Media wrote about the NFL draft jumping the shark.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement here, Har?
Brandon Kravitz is his name. He's a
Not
radio
Lenny
guy.
Kravitz.
No. Brandon Kravitz is a radio guy down in Orlando, Florida on 96.9 The Game. And he had this article that caught my attention saying that the NFL draft has jumped the shark. And if you pull it up and, we get this newsletter, there's a picture of Eisen, on the set, which was right there by the Bellagio. And on the set with him, it's not, any draftniks. There's no Daniel Jeremiah. It's the Blue Man Group with Rich Eisen. And the point was, and I agree with this, that, viewers aren't watching the NFL draft to see a magic show. Yeah. Okay. Chris Angel apparently started off the second day of coverage, which I did not see, with some performance. And, Roger Goodell was right up there, and, Angel's making his way out of a straitjacket. To start the draft broadcast. And then they had, sometimes they'll bring up old players from, an organization to introduce a draft pick. Ed Marinaro, who was actually an actor too, announced the Vikings second round draft pick. And he went on about his playing career, not wanting to get drafted by the Vikings, pontificated some more, trying to crack jokes. He was like putting on a show up there. It's like, dude, just get to the pick, please.
Yeah, we're not here for this.
Right.
I don't care about you. Who are you taking?
Exactly. Jeez. And it's just, and then they had wrestlers on. They had WWE wrestlers on. They did a promo and saying about, which player and which team was the best and all this. It's all this sideshow stuff. And I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And
most sports fans don't.
I really don't think so. When it comes to the NFL, I don't think they need that stuff. I really don't.
I agree with you. And it takes you to the point of why are you trying to bring people into something that probably aren't going to be there? Just serve your core audience.
Yeah.
Serve the shot in the beer guys.
Right. Now I get the fact that they've moved this draft around and they're trying to sort of, play up the vibe or the culture of whatever city they're in. I understand all that, but I think they go too far with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need none of that. I want the picks and I want them rapidly. I think the clock, you're on the clock, is already too long.
I agree.
It should be every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy should be trying to run a 4.40 to get up there and put the pick in time. And if Howie Roseman can't run it fast enough, you lose your pick.
Right. Howie Roseman had the phones working all weekend, though. How many trades did he make? Man, that guy, he is Trader Howie. I mean, you talk about serving an audience. You know what you're going to get from him, and he gives it to you.
He's never boring. He's good copy.
He is.
I'm not a huge fan of him, but he made some moves here in this draft. And what'd you think of the first round pick and then the trade?
I tell you, man, I love AJ Brown being a part of this team. I mean, they finally have now a real veteran presence and guy that knows how to play. I mean, he's had a couple of great years down in Tennessee, and you pair him with Devontae Smith. I mean, that's going to be something to see. Their offense,
some veteran into that wide receiver room.
Yeah, they needed that.
Yep.
Because I mean, obviously, it's kind of interesting the way it turned out that they make a move with Tennessee, who didn't want to pay AJ Brown. He ends up getting $57 million guaranteed, a 4-year contract from the Eagles. Tennessee didn't want to do that, so they do. What do? They draft the guy that was compared to him in the draft, in Burks from Arkansas, who was one of the players that I thought the Eagles might have had some interest in. So they went with the sure thing rather than taking another first round pick with a wide receiver and rolling the dice. And I love it because they've rolled the dice and it's come up, snake eyes too many times.
Yeah. It's come up craps too many times.
Crapped out.
And the known commodity is the big part, because if you want to move forward, you got to have that known commodity. And, if you have the money to be able to commit to it, good. But it is worrisome to me in the sense that, why did Tennessee want to move on? Do we know the whole story here?
Well, I just don't think they wanted to invest in that position with that amount of money with this guy. I mean, but the Eagles ended up trading the 18th pick and the 101st pick for a stud wide receiver. So, I'm good with it. The move up to get Jordan Davis, if he can eventually, play 3 downs, it's a great move. Because he's an absolute beast, man. I mean, this guy ran a 4.75 40, I believe, somewhere around 4.78, I think it was.
Yeah.
At the size, it's freakish what this guy can do. He occupies 2 and 3 blockers at a time against teams like Alabama. So you'll be able to do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
he's like that's like watching a industrial size refrigerator freezer from a restaurant run a 4.78 40.
Exactly.
Huge.
Yeah, he's a monster. And then they get Cam Jurgens in the 3rd round, I believe it was. Actually, no, that was the 2nd round.
Yeah.
The center from Nebraska, who apparently Jason Kelsey helped them draft. He said, he's the guy. Let's go get him as my heir apparent. So, Kelsey probably only be around here for maybe one more season. So you got that. I mean, they are, you look at what they have on both lines, offensive and defensive. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And everything starts there. Like, you got to be good there. That's the old Andy Reid philosophy.
Right. That's always been their philosophy, for the last, 2 decades or so. And then they ended up getting to Kobe Dean at 83, who was the linebacker that everybody was thinking might have even been a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
And, everybody had been wanting a linebacker here for so long, and they finally get a guy to play the inside. Maybe he might have had some sort of pectoral issue, and some guys might have thought he was undersized. But, man, that guy played for the best defense in college football that had 5 players taken in the 1st round, which is unbelievable. I think it's an all-time record from one side of the ball from one college in the 1st round, and he ends up falling in the 3rd round. He's a hell of a player. He was the heart and soul of that defense for Georgia. So I like the draft. I thought the Eagles did a nice job.
Yeah, and the thing about the draft is when it ends, then you get the rookie mini camp. You start to get to the OTAs and everything.
Schedule release is coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big day here on sports radio.
Oh yeah.
Anthony doing W's and L's with
give him
every
a win,
call.
give him a loss, dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Week 7, they're going to be in Cleveland.
Well,
what do you got?
Well, and also you look at the road games and plan your road trip. Like, what's the one place that you got to go?
The road trip.
That's on the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the Eagles' opponents in 2022? I'm going to bring it up. Schedule opponents, because we got to find it. Let's beat sports radio to it, Har. So for the Eagles, they have team by team opponents. The Eagle, that's not what I want.
Yeah, forget about the division games. We all know those.
Yeah, you're going to play each of those teams twice. So when you get into the NFC East, the Eagles, their opponents for the 2022 seasons, obviously Dallas, New York, these are home.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, then Green Bay, they have it Lincoln Financial Field.
Right.
So there you go.
They go on the road to Indianapolis, to Houston, Detroit, Chicago, and Arizona.
Houston, you say Houston, Harry?
Yeah, I said
and
Houston.
Indy.
Yeah, and Indy. Indy's an easy trip.
Yeah.
It's an impressive stadium. It's a fun town. It's a good town for an event. I've been to a Final Four there, and so that's an easy trip. But probably Arizona.
Yeah,
go out
a good
and
one.
Play some golf in Scottsdale or something.
You're hoping you get Arizona early when they're without the receiver.
Yeah, but then when you go out there, it's real hot.
Well, it's going to be hot there tonight. It's a desert.
Yeah, and it's nice though in the wintertime, like
we like it
hot or something. Yeah. Houston, I've been to Houston a few times. It's okay. Yeah. It's nothing great.
Yeah.
Detroit, I can do without. Chicago, that's a good trip.
Well, that one again depends on when it is though, Harry. If that's December 17th,
yeah,
that's tough putt.
Good point. Yeah, September in Chicago would be nice.
Oh, on the lake.
You can go to the Wrigley.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful. I was out there in 2010 for the Cup final. Me and the old lady went out.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Memorial Day weekend, game 1 and 2.
Nice.
And that was also when Doc Holliday, it was during game 1 of the Cup final, and Doc Holliday threw the perfect game.
Oh, wow.
So I was in the bowels of the United Center watching that, Har. And because Doc played in Toronto, all the Canadian media was hunkered down on it.
Oh, yeah.
Including the one and only Don Cherry watching the game with us.
What suit was he wearing?
It was a black and white checkered on the cuffs with the huge shoulders. Like everything was oversized, and like the shirt things are like 4 feet long.
Right.
And the hair and the beard.
Lapels are big, and the collars. That Chicago trip though. Like maybe Notre Dame plays at home that weekend. You can go out there for a Saturday with the Golden Dome with Tom Byrne.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I've never been to Notre Dame.
You haven't?
One of those temples of sport.
I've done a game there.
Oh, for when Temple played there, correct?
Yeah. They got blown out, but I did the game.
Did you go by Touchdown Jesus, Hack?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't see it from the field anymore.
Yeah, that's
like
an outrage.
You used to, because they built the stadium. They've remodeled that stadium. They've done a nice job with it, but now you can't see it from the field.
Why aren't they elevated up a little higher on a platform so you can see it from the field?
Well, it's part of the library, I think. It's on the library. You can't elevate the library.
They should go full Josh Groban and you raise me up, Har. And raise up Touchdown Jesus.
I think that's the only time Josh Groban will be mentioned on a show with me ever.
Oh, he's a good singer, though, Har.
Yeah?
Yeah. He sings that "You Raise Me Up" song.
And does Metallica do a cover version of that song?
Not yet, but that's not a bad idea. I may put one of those together.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? Version. Like if a guy like Josh Groban toured like with Metallica and used them as his backing band. Yeah. That would be hilarious. Yeah. I'd actually go see that maybe.
Josh Groban singing Enter Sandman.
Yes.
That would who's the crooner? Michael Bublé.
Yeah,
singing
Bublé.
Metallica would be great as well.
Right. Or like Black Sabbath. Bublé doing Black Sabbath.
Yes. Iron Man.
Right.
That would be classic. By the way, did you see that The Who is going to be in town? Now, when is that? Is that this week?
I don't know, but I know they're touring, and it's just, of course, the two of them, Daltrey and Entwistle.
Yeah, so you see them, and you go, who?
Yeah.
Who else is with them?
I know. I mean, it's a running joke, but weren't they the ones that started the Final Tour nonsense decades ago?
Oh, they might have been.
I think they were the one that said, like this is the final tour of the Who, and it's like 35 years ago
in '86.
Yeah,
the farewell tour.
It's unbelievable.
I went and saw Ozzy's retirement tour, Har. And 2 years later, I went and saw Ozzy's retirement sucks tour. And I think that was in 97.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's too much. I mean, I love the Who, don't get me wrong. And
yeah.
I've seen them before and they're great. But I would have no interest in this.
So did you see him with Entwistle and who was the drummer? Danny Jones?
Kenny Jones.
Kenny Jones.
Yeah,
I
believe Kenny Jones was the drummer. I know Entwistle was still with the band.
Okay.
So this is before he expired.
Did he play Boris the Spider on the?
Yeah, I believe he did.
On the Explorer bass.
Oh yeah,
huge bass.
Yeah,
Boris the Spider.
Man, he would just hang out back there, like by the amps. Man, he didn't do a whole lot of moving around, did John?
You didn't need to with Pete.
No.
Pete was windmilling all over the stage.
Well, yeah, and then you get Daltrey, who's one of the best front men in rock and roll history.
Yeah, and all the
microphone. Yeah, it's great.
He's had to eclipse at least a number of stagehands in his career that were coming up to pick up a mic stand, and he decided to start swinging that thing.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm not interested. They're playing with an orchestra too.
They are.
Yeah, and I know Metallica did the orchestra thing, and I wasn't interested in that. It was
you didn't see that
tour. Symphony and Metallica.
You didn't go see that one?
No, a buddy of mine went up and saw it in New York, said it was great, but I'm more into like the thrash and the chunk and being up there in a pair of black jeans and a ripped black shirt. I don't need all the Michael Kamen and the San Francisco Symphony there.
Right.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Now, do you think our buddy John DeBella, who's a devotee to Pete Townsend, do you think he'll be in attendance?
There's not a doubt, a shred of doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
He will not only be in attendance, but I would venture to say that Pete will make an appearance on the JDB show one day before Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to guest, right?
Oh, you would think so. Yeah.
I mean, they have a long history together.
And that interview will be recorded in an afternoon prior to when it airs. I don't know that Pete's getting up early to check in.
No, Pete's days of getting up early ended long before the Who likely have. Morning show, no.
Yeah,
we tape in the afternoon. You can play in the morning.
I have his autobiography.
Pete.
Now I want to read. That's one of the two books that I'd like to get through this year. Are the Keith Richards autobiography and Pete Townsend.
Jeez, you're probably intoxicated by the time you read that Keith Richards one.
Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
Yeah. Top 3 Who songs for you? Like I think of Pete, like Eminence Front, because he sings so much on that one. It's a great song.
515 is one of my favorites from Quadrophenia.
Okay.
I also like I'm One from Quadrophenia, that Pete on the acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I mean, Behind Blue Eyes is tough to leave out.
Yeah. Bob O'Reilly.
Yeah, or Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yeah. The breakdown in Won't Get Fooled Again is one of the best ever.
Yeah. The drums.
Yeah. What about You Better You Better You Bet?
Not one of my favorites. I mean, I won't turn the channel.
It's kind of cheesy, right?
It is a little bit. Yeah.
What about Pinball Wizard Hair?
No.
That's
not one of my things.
Oh,
I'd much prefer the Quadrophenia to the Pinball Wizard.
Okay, a little more psychedelic.
Yeah. I'm a big Quadrophenia guy.
All right.
Yeah.
I can go with you on that. I was always a fan, but never like a super fan of it. They never like really hit me.
Oh yeah.
Now some bands like Zeppelin and Plant and Page and that what they did hit me. The Who never hit me the same way. I like it, but it never kind of like the Doors like embedded themselves in me like a tick.
Right.
But the Who never did for me.
Yeah, I like the Who. Like Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy is a great record of singles, like but sort of their earlier kind of stuff. It's a great record. And the song Long Live Rock is awesome.
Yeah. Long Live.
That is a great tune.
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, that is. I mean, some of his vocal performances are fantastic. I think for me with him, it was like almost too theatrical at times. So it felt
I could see
the Tommy stuff and felt a little more kind of Broadway-ish.
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
I
that
like.
Tommy stuff, I didn't really. That's not. I say like I said, Pinball Wizard. Pinball Wizard is on Tommy,
Yeah.
but Tommy versus Quadrophenia, I would always go Quadrophenia.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like of any of these old bands that are still touring around that I'm going, okay, I need to see that band. Like you and I went and saw the Eagles.
Right.
Because I never saw the Eagles with James Taylor. It was, what was that, Citizens Bank
Citizens
Park?
Bank Park, yeah. That wasn't one of my favorite shows by them. I've seen them so many times.
Yeah, you're too far. You got to see them indoors.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't like the outdoor show. It's too much space for me.
I mean, the outdoor show had to be like a stadium thing where you're, I don't know, like the Citizens Bank Park shows are different.
Yeah.
Than like the old JFK shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you mean. Or if you go to like the outdoor, like whatever it's called over in Camden now.
Yeah, it's been changed about 20 different times.
Yeah, if you're in the lawn, it's like, okay, that's a cool lawn experience, but you're not really there for the show.
Right.
But if you have good, like I saw the Black Crowes with Jimmy Page in the 7th row center.
Wow.
At that Camden place.
Yeah.
And that was insane.
Wow. Yeah, I saw Alan Jackson and John Anderson, a country show.
Wow.
In the
John Anderson from Yes?
No, John Anderson, the country singer, not John Anderson from Yes. He warmed up for Alan Jackson, and I saw it in the 2nd row at the Raleigh version of the amphitheater, the outdoor amphitheater thing. It was amazing.
Yeah. And Alan Jackson good there? Did you do a little
tremendous.
Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee
Yes,
hair?
he did. Absolutely. That was the year that he toured. That was the was the record. Yeah.
It must have been hotter than a hoochie coochie.
Oh, it was. It was
we laid rubber on Georgia asphalt.
Got a little crazy, but we never got caught.
That's exactly. I love that song. I just love the lyric. Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee.
And the guitar lick is pretty good too.
He can play. Yes, he can play a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a bit like I was seeing somebody put this on Twitter because the weather was really nice. Maybe it been yesterday, but you know when the weather gets nice, that's when like the Kenny Chesney music comes out, windows down. But that like it. Like I want to like that shit, but I just can't.
He's great to see. Like at the Link, I've seen him at the Link. I've seen him at FedEx Field. Eric Church was part of that crew. He's great to see outdoor. Like those outdoor concerts, like for those country events, are like what the rock events were in the 70s and 80s in the stadiums.
Like the vibe.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Zach Brown.
Yeah, he's great too. Guys. That band's great.
Yeah. I do like some of his stuff, but like, I don't know. I just can't like fall in love with the music. And I can't even find new music that I like anymore. Like,
you know what it is with you? You would consider it kind of a violation against your heavy metal code if you admitted that you actually liked a couple of those songs.
No, it's not that. Like, I just love good musicianship. Like every time when we do a podcast before you come on, I always have some music playing just on the stream just to make sure all the audio is working and everything. And like today I had Eric Johnson's live performance of Cliffs of Dover. Right.
Great guitarist.
Great guitars.
I had never seen him before. I didn't even know what he looked like.
Oh, and he does not look like you would think.
No.
The way he plays.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal. But like, I just like good musicianship. Like,
hey, some of these country bands, I'm telling you, talk about musicianship. Yeah. I mean, these guitar players are freaking amazing, and the fiddle players, and
I watched a documentary on Amazon Prime on something about Nashville and all the songwriters and how they work together. Everything.
I'd like to see that. What's the name of it? You gotta.
I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I would look it up. It'll take me too long. And I was watching it, and there's that song, "I Drive Your Truck." You know that song?
I Drive Your Truck. No.
I forget who actually recorded it, but there's these two women that wrote it. And they tell us it's actually done by Lee Bryce.
Oh, I know that name. Yeah. Okay.
And it's a true story about a soldier who was killed in battle and his father that drives his old pickup truck.
Oh.
And if you read the lyrics to the song, it's an incredible song. Like, I never knew the song. It talks about the dirty Braves cap on the dash, and the thing burns gas like crazy, but that's all right. People got their ways of coping. and I've got mine. I drive your truck. I roll the windows down. I burn up. I do donuts in the field. The whole thing.
Right.
Total country song. But they go through how these two women came across the story and then wrote the song and then found somebody to record it. And I'm watching this episode. I'm like, Jesus, this is unbelievable. And it's not my kind of song or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like it hit me like a fucking lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, this song is like Americana.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those songs.
Yeah. But you got to really listen. You got to pay attention. You can't listen to Jimmy. You got to hear Jimmy.
Right.
So,
oh man,
that's my story. So, anything else you want to get to, Har?
We hit on the Sixers, right?
Yeah,
we hit on the draft. Oh, another one of those songs. You go back and listen to this, and you might like it if you like those lyrics. Jamie Johnson does a song called "In Color." You should have seen it. Yeah, Jamie Johnson, Jamey Johnson, and it's about him looking through old photos of like his grandfather, and they're all black and white photos, right? Because it's the old days, and they talk about what the picture represents. You should have seen it in color. It's a great lyric, great song.
Oh wow,
yeah, you'd like it.
Do you have a favorite lyric that you live by, Harry? Because you're a simple guy, and I mean we have the Harry Mays-isms, and but do you have a lyric that sticks out as your favorite lyric?
Boy, that's a good question.
I got one.
You do?
It's like I'm a Pearl Jam fan and I like Eddie Vedder.
Right.
I'm not like a huge monster guy like that, but with the lyric in the song "I Am Mine" is one of the best lyrics I've ever heard. It's "I know I was born, I know that I'll die. The in between is mine." It's a great lyric. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, because the in between is mine, and I am mine. That's the song.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you would have given me a little time. I got to think about this. Well, there's an Eric Clapton song that is on. I forget which record it's on too. Damn it. You know what? I'll have to look this up.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, like I have so many that I absolutely love, but that one from Vedder, I know I was born. I know that I'll die. The in between is mine. I actually have a shirt that has the lyric on it that I found.
Man,
fantastic one.
That's pretty good.
All right, let's tell the people about the Bet Parks app. Do you have any PGA bets, Harry, that you like?
I'm actually going down to the tournament tomorrow.
What?
Yeah, it's down in suburban Washington, D.C. at TPC Potomac in Maryland. And the reason I'm going, Potomac. That's what my ex-wife's mother used to call it because they lived down there, the Potomac River.
Yeah.
Not Potomac. It was the Potomac.
It was the Potomac, exactly.
So I'm going to TPC Potomac and to see Brandon Matthews, my buddy who played at Temple and is on the Corn Ferry Tour. He got an exemption, a sponsor's exemption for this week's PGA tournament. So he's playing Thursday afternoon. He tees off at 2:22, and I'll be down there to follow his group around.
Who's in his group? Anybody that we would know?
No, you wouldn't know anybody else that he's playing with. I looked it up.
All right.
But
does he have nice odds on the Bet Parks app, Har?
You know, he's about like, man, what is he? I got him right here. 25,000 plus 25,000. So that's 250 to 1 to win it, and 150 to 1 to lead after the first round. But I took a piece out of his top 40 play at plus 275.
Okay.
So,
and what's his nname again?
Brandon Matthews. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour. He'll be full time on the PGA Tour next year because he's all but qualified already. He's got a win on Corn Ferry.
All right, so you're going to be heading to the Potomac.
Yeah, I'll be down there.
All right, and you'll have the Bet Parks app in your pocket, but you're going to have to go over to the Pennsylvania border.
That's right.
To get those wagers in. It's the all-new Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. It is now live. Take it from me. Take it from Har. It's everything you want in a mobile casino and sportsbook, and it is right in your pocket. Easy to sign up, easy to use, fun to use, faster to win than ever before. And Bet Parks users, use the promo code Jason750. This is for new and existing users, and you're going to get a risk-free bet up to $750. Not bad. Terms and conditions apply. So do yourself a favor, download the Bet Parks app today. You do need to be over 21, present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, next week, Har, episode 23. We'll
How about
crank it
that?
up. You're still trying to find that lyric, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and I can't find it.
All right, you can text it to me, and
I
maybe we'll
will.
come up with a few for next week, and we'll play some audio samples of said lyrics as well.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
All right.
That won't be a problem. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Leave us a rating and review, and we'll talk to you next week on a brand new episode of Bet Parks.